Hello there, a great evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. Our hopes that you had yourselves a great and productive day, and our welcome to our edition. Here's a sneak peek, the headlines. The lower chamber of the Chamber of Deputies in the Rwandan Parliament on Wednesday passed a law that will make it easier for foreign banks to operate in Rwanda. On Wednesday, 95 Burundian refugees who lived in Rwanda returned to their home country. Good evening once again, and thanks for keeping us company. The lower chamber of the lower chamber in the Rwandan Parliament on Wednesday passed a law that will make it easier for foreign banks to operate in Rwanda. Prince Manzi starts us off tonight.
The chairperson of the Committee on Economy and Trade, Honorable Theogene Munyangeyo, reiterates that the past law in 2017 was to be amended to meet the country's goal of being an investment and economic hub. There is also that in 2020, Rwanda was analyzed by the IMF on the implementation on how banks are monitored, including amending the law governing them. Foreign banks usually first went through the registration procedures, but are now able to establish branches, as local-based banks do in other countries. The Minister of State in charge of National Treasury at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, Richard Tusabe, reiterates that amending this law is also in favor of foreign investors interested in the financial sector in Rwanda. I give an example. If you are supposed to have 200 employees, the branch will allow you to have 10 employees, and this minimizes the expenses. This will help in providing financial services to Rwandans and their clients globally. And this is the financial hub philosophy by the government. And this might later lead to the investment having a subsidiary here in the country. Another topic raised is the establishment of regulations to control and monitor the performance of banking groups and other international financial societies, which can then be carried out by private companies authorized by the Central Bank of Rwanda. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
On Tuesday, 95 Burundian refugees who lived in Rwanda returned to their home country. We do have the details. On Wednesday morning, 75 refugees who were in the Mahama refugee camp and others from the city of Kigali and Bugesera district left for the Rwanda-Burundi border to return home voluntarily. They expressed sentiments as they get to see their motherland after a long time. I made the decision myself. Nobody forced me. I wanted it. I had no problem living in the camp, but I wanted to return to my motherland and see my family left there. In the camp, when you have security, everything else moves smoothly. I thank Rwanda for receiving me well, and now I'm returning home without any problem. The UNHCR reiterated that despite Burundi's decision to close the border with Rwanda, refugees have to be given their full rights.
The repatriation is ongoing, and today we are happy to see, because this is the first convoy of 2024, and we always see there is interest from Burundians who are living in Mahama camp to return back. So we have been registering them, because we have a registration site. UNHCR staff are all the time in the camp, and then we always keep our door open for those who are interested to return, because UNHCR always facilitate the repatriation on the basis of will of the persons of concerns, refugees. We never forced anybody to return back, so we are happy to support them to facilitate their repatriations.
Mahama refugee camp was established in 2012 after an influx of Burundian refugees into Rwanda as a result of the political instability that occurred in that country in the wake of an unsuccessful coup d'etat against former President Pierre Nkurunziza. That year, the camp received more than 60,000 Burundian refugees. In 2020, they started to voluntarily return to their country. To date, more than 30,000 have returned. Currently, the camp hosts more than 40,000 Burundian refugees and more than 20,000 Congolese refugees. It also hosts some 29 of other countries like Sudan, Yemen, and so on. The Ministry of Local Government highlights the significant role of the Joint Permanent Commission in fostering cooperation between the government of Rwanda and the state of Rhineland and Palatinate for the development of the community well-being. We do have the details with Adam Squizera.
The government of Rwanda and Rhineland-Palatinate, a German state, marks 42 years of partnership which cut across different sectors such as economic development, health and education. The beneficiaries highlight the significant role of Rwanda and Rhineland-Palatinate in their development. We had so many derelict school buildings, but they renovated them. They also contributed much in solving the issue of overcrowding, even though the process is still running. In the Joint Permanent Commission between Rwanda and the state of Rhineland-Palatinate, which is taking place in Kigali, and co-chaired by the Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, and Heike Rob, the Secretary of State of Rhineland-Palatinate for Federal and European Affairs and Media, who reiterated on tangible results from this partnership that even resulted to the establishment of BioNTech.
Medicine production and not now maybe it's import of medicine product, but production of medicine products is sovereignty for a state. So you can build up a health system and medical system by your own produced medicine products, and you can use it in the hospitals here.
The Minister of Local Government, Jean-Claude Musabyimana, noted that there is much planned to be done throughout this partnership. We'll continue to work on this partnership in various programs like TV at schools, as we're even sticking on other issues and ideas that we also have to develop. But particularly, what is needed is to strengthen the ongoing bilateral relations and activities. Among the achievements of the partnership of the two states, more than 2,000 projects valued over 100 million euros have been initiated in sectors of health, social welfare, education, and income-generating activities. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Moving ahead, Rwanda's Senate President has met and held discussions with Libya's ambassador to Rwanda, His Excellency Ibrahim Sid Ibrahim Matar, focusing on the bilateral relations that exist between both countries and how they can both benefit from them. That is the reason we agreed with the Senate President that there should be study tours between both countries, and the delegation of parliamentarians will make a study tour here in Rwanda to see for themselves how this country was able to solve its problems through unity and reconciliation. Dr. François-Xavier Kalinda, the Senate President, expressed Rwanda's willingness to assist Libya in this particular matter.
Libya nacyo ni igihugu kivuye ndetse nabako kikiri mu makimbirane hagati.
With Libya still coming out of internal conflict, the ambassador told us of the progress they are making, and they want to start their own journey of unity and reconciliation based on what Rwanda has achieved in the decades after the genocide against the Tutsi. We will explain to them how our fundamental principles help us when it comes to unity and dealing with the consequences of the genocide, while fighting genocidal ideologies as well as its denial and negation. He told us that their people were also divided and that they want to learn from Rwanda to be able to get over the challenges they are now facing.
Igihugu habayeho ivangura hagati y'abene gihugu ko nabo bifuza kwigira ku Rwanda kugira ngo nabo bashobore kuba bava mu bibazo barimo.
And to other matters, Rwanda's Minister of Infrastructure, Dr. Jimmy Gasore, together with the Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Jean Chrysostome Gabitsinze, cordially received Lieutenant General Kamel Al-Zawir, Egypt's Minister of Transport, and his delegation. The visit is aimed at strengthening cooperation in infrastructure development and trade relations between the two countries.
Relations between the Ministry of Transport of Egypt and the Ministry of Trade and Industry of Rwanda and the Ministry of Infrastructure of Rwanda was to strengthen the existing relationship in general, a bilateral relationship between Rwanda and Egypt, but also to strengthen the cooperation in terms of infrastructure. We already have some existing initiatives, including Egypt Air, which flies to Kigali 3 times a week. We have Egyptian contractors, but we want to put it to further steps, including availing land for Rwanda in Egypt, near to the ports, where we can showcase our own products, and also for reciprocity, giving land to Egypt in Kigali or in Rwanda, where they can showcase their products as well.
On his part, Lieutenant General Kamel Al-Zawir commended the good relations between Egypt and Rwanda, noting that they are the result of the political will for them to exist. He also pointed out that a good transportation sector is also crucial for any country's long-term development, which is why Egypt is eager to strengthen its partnership with Rwanda in this particular regard. Moving ahead to other matters, Irembo, the top provider of online government services, completed the training of 305 agents in collaboration with the African Management Institute. The partnership highlights Irembo's dedication to enhancing the skills of its workforce and providing effective government services to the citizens. The collaborative efforts between Irembo and AMI reflects a commitment to improving citizen services by providing Irembo agents with essential skills and knowledge. The training focused on various aspects, including strategic business assessment, setting growth goals, market understanding, enhanced performance, career development, and planning for growth. The agents were awarded a certificate of completion, recognizing their dedication to the continuous learning. And moving ahead, in Rwanda, there was a launch of a workshop of women in energy sector on the African continent, which aims to strengthen their participation, particularly in this energy sector. We do have the details with Prince Manzi.
10 African countries involved at the launch of this initiative, including Rwanda. Women in the energy sector accounts for 9 to 13%, and their pay grade lowered to men on a 21% rate. The Zanzibar Minister for Water, Energy and Minerals, Ngana Juma Abdullah, and the Swatini Minister for Natural Resources and Energy, Prince Lokokela Dlamini, reiterates that no one is to doubt women's ability, rather to trust in them.
Kwa sasa baada ya kuwapa taaluma wameweza kujiamini na kufanya kazi zao kama ambavyo imetakiwa. Kuliko kule nyuma alikuwa anajificha, pengine mwanamke hawezi kupanda juu akaweza kutengeneza, lakini sasa wanafanya. Wana uwezo ndio. Wamesoma vizuri, wanawake wamesoma vizuri katika idara ya nishati, lakini sasa tunawahamasisha na wanajitokeza na wanasimamia wenzao kuweza kuendelea kupata mafunzo na kuendeleza katika idara ya nishati.
We see this as the right direction, and personally I would like to see women not only working in the industry of energy, but owning the industries and being shareholders rather than just being workers. We have to think beyond that.
The Minister of State at the Ministry of Infrastructure, Patrice Uwase, elaborates measurements to address this issue found in the energy sector in Rwanda.
In Rwanda, we had specifically started a network like this before. We call it the WIRE, Women in Rwanda Energy. And this specifically has looked at how do we integrate women in the big projects that we have. How do we make sure that women are at the forefront? So we've, for example, made sure that they get internships in these projects. We've made sure that those that do excel at those internships do get management roles at REG. We've seen a good progress there. And there's much more that can be done, obviously. At national level, obviously, there's women like me who are trying to advance some of the projects that we have, but there's multiple other women, of course, at management level. And we wanted to see that this number gets increasing every year.
According to the International Renewable Energy Agency, the global energy sector has the potential to create 139 million jobs with over 74 million in energy efficiency, electric vehicles, power systems and flexibility, and hydrogen. The Regional Director for Infrastructure in Eastern and Southern Africa, Wendy Higg, reiterates that the Sustainable Development Goal related to clean fuels cannot be achieved if there is still this gender gap.
It is inherently unequal to see such numbers as we have seen. The other reason is that in order to achieve sustainable development goals in energy and just generally for economies, it is not possible to do that if a huge portion of your potential brain power and workforce is not able to participate or is not being included. So yes, it's about fairness and equality, but it's also absolutely essential to be able to bring women into the energy workforce in order to draw on all the resources that countries have and to achieve the goals that countries have set out.
The Gender Monitoring Office statistics demonstrates that women in the energy sector accounts for 5% in Rwanda. The 2023 Gender Gap Report by the World Economic Forum placed Rwanda on the 11th place globally in countries that strive to enclose the gender gap in this sector. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
To matters in sports, the Sudal Quick Step youth team had a perfect day on the roads of the Stage 4 of Tour du Rwanda 2024 between Karongi and Rubavu on the shores of Lake Kivu. William Leserf won the sprint and stormed to victory after covering 93 kilometers in 2 hours and 19 minutes and 22 seconds. Leserf's teammate Pepin Rendering retained the leader's yellow jersey, where after 4 stages he leads the standings with 9 hours, 23 minutes and 34 seconds after 362.7 kilometers. Moise Mugisha of Java Innovatech is the only Rwandan who finished among the top 20 in Rubavu. He came in 18th in this sprint with stage winner Leserf and sits 17th in general classification, 7 seconds off the summit, while Eric Manizabayo emerged 21st and trails 57 seconds behind the yellow jersey holder. The yellow jersey holder expressed sentiments on this particular stage and the race in general.
Well, today went really well. One rider in the attack, so we can easily control the brake. And then after 2 days pulling in the peloton, today we finish it off. So yeah, I think we can be really satisfied with today. I want to thank the team for all the work at the front. And now we're gonna try to win Tour de Rwanda. Well, it's quite warm again, like last year. It makes the race really hard also with the altitude. But it's a great experience, it's a good race to get the season going, so yeah.
And that's all from us here at RBS Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team, many thanks for being with us. Up until next time, stay safe and have a great evening.